The whistle's shrill blast shattered the afternoon haze like a gunshot, and I froze mid-stride on the cracked asphalt track, my sneakers skidding into the gravel. Coach Harlan's voice boomed across the field. "Hartley, you're up next, kid. Show these slackers what ordinary looks like." His words slicing deeper than any tackle ever could, because in that moment, I knew. I wasn't just overlooked. I was invisible, a ghost haunting the edges of Evergreen High's glory days. But then, from the bleachers where the captains lounged like kings, Jax Donovan locked eyes with me. Not with pity, but with a spark that burned right through my defenses, whispering promises of chaos and something dangerously close to fate. It was senior year in Willow Creek, Ohio, that sleepy Rust Belt town where Friday nights meant bonfires and gridiron gods, and the rest of us mortals scraped by on cafeteria dreams and borrowed courage. I was Alex Hartley, the scrawny backup kicker with a backpack full of dog-eared sci-fi novels and a secret notebook where I sketched faces, mostly his. Jax Donovan wasn't just the team captain. He was the sun around which our little universe spun. 6'2" of quarterback perfection, with sun-bleached hair that fell just right over those piercing green eyes, and a smile that could disarm a riot. He dated cheerleaders, aced calc without trying, and led the Eagles to state semis last season like it was child's play. Me? I was the kid who fixed the vending machine for free sodas and volunteered for the AV club because hiding behind a projector cart felt safer than facing the locker room gauntlet. That first real conversation hit like a blindside blitz. We'd just wrapped practice, the air thick with sweat and the metallic tang of turf, when I lingered by the water cooler, pretending to check my laces. Jax sauntered over, towel slung over his shoulder, his jersey clinging in ways that made my pulse stutter. "Hartley," he said, voice low and gravelly from barking plays all afternoon. "You ever think about more than towing that ball? Like, leading the line?" I nearly choked on my gulp of water, sputtering as his gaze held mine. Steady, searching, like he saw the fire I'd buried under layers of fine whatever. "Me? Lead?" I laughed it off, but it came out brittle. "Coached Sooner bench the whole squad." He leaned in closer, the heat from his skin brushing mine like static. "Not if I say so. Stick around after drills tomorrow. We'll talk strategy." I didn't sleep that night, tossed in my twin bed, posters of Neil deGrasse Tyson staring down like disappointed uncles, replaying his words on loop. Strategy. With Jax Donovan. In Willow Creek, where coming out was like admitting you rooted for the Browns unironically, I kept my truths locked tighter than the stadium gate. Dad split when I was 10, Mom worked doubles at the diner. Our trailer smelled of grease and unspoken grief. I learned early, blend in or break. But Jax? He was the exception that unraveled everything. Next afternoon, the sun dipped low, painting the field in honeyed gold as the team cleared out. I waited by the 50-yard line, heart hammering like a bass drum. Jax jogged up, cleats kicking up divots, and tossed me a football warm from his grip. Catch! It landed solid in my palms, heavier than expected. We ran plays then, just us two, him calling hikes while I snapped and covered like my life depended on it. Sweat blurred my vision, but his laughter cut through. Genuine, unguarded. "You're quicker than you let on, Alex. Why hide it?" He sacked me lightly once, his body pinning mine to the grass for a split second too long, breath mingling hot and ragged. I shoved him off, cheeks flaming, but he just grinned. Feisty. Good. We need that. By week's end, whispers started. Jax pulled me into huddles, had me charting opponent weaknesses during film sessions. Coach grumbled, Donovan's pet project. But even he couldn't ignore the spark. Jax's touches lingered. A clap on the back that slid to my shoulder, eyes meeting across the cafeteria like shared secrets. One rainy Tuesday, post-practice, we ducked into the equipment shed to escape the downpour. The air hummed with the scent of leather and damp earth. "Alex," he said, voice dropping as thunder rumbled outside. "I see you, the way you watch everything, like you're piecing together the universe." Magnetic. My throat went dry. Rain hammered the tin roof, drowning my pulse. He stepped closer, fingers brushing my jaw, tentative, electric. I didn't pull away. Our lips met soft, then fierce, a storm of its own. It was messy, urgent, tasting of Gatorade and revelation. When we broke apart, gasping, he pressed his forehead to mine. This us, it's real. Don't freak. Freak? I was a live wire. For weeks, we navigated the tightrope. Stolen kisses in the boiler room. Late-night texts dissecting constellations over fried pickles at Dino's diner. Jax opened up. His folks' divorce carving him hollow. The pressure of being the golden boy, a crown of thorns. Football's my armor, he admitted one night, sprawled on my lumpy couch while Mom pulled the graveyard shift. But you're the part that fits without trying. I traced the freckles on his knuckles, confessing my sketches, my fears of a world that'd label us freaks. He kissed my temple. Let him try. We're unbreakable. Unbreakable lasted until homecoming. The game was electric. Eagles up by 10 in the fourth, Jax threading passes like lightning. I was on the sidelines, towel boy turned unofficial hype man, screaming till my voice cracked. Then, the hit. A linebacker from Riverton blindsided him, helmet cracking against ribs. Jax crumpled, field blurring red as trainers swarmed. I vaulted the barrier, heart in my throat, pushing through to kneel beside him. Stay with me? I whispered, gripping his hand under the chaos. His eyes fluttered, pain-glazed but locking on mine. Alex, promise you'll lead if I can't. Medics carted him off. The crowd's roar faded to white noise. We won, but victory tasted like ash. Hospital lights buzzed sterile as I paced the waiting room, Mom's hand heavy on my shoulder. He's tough, kiddo. Hours crawled. Then the doc emerged. Cracked ribs, bruised lung. Out for the season, maybe longer. Jax's parents hovered. Steely Midwestern reserve cracking as they hugged me like family. In his room, pale under the fluorescence, he managed a weak grin. Told you. Your turn, Hartley. Captain's orders. I laughed through tears, curling beside him on the narrow bed. Our fingers laced like lifelines. Only if you fight back to the field. Word spread like wildfire. Coach called an emergency huddle next morning. Team fractured, playoffs looming. Donovan's sidelined. We need a new voice. I slid to me, skeptical, sizing up the nobody. Murmurs rippled. Hartley? The nerd kicker. But Jax's absence echoed louder than doubt. I stepped forward, voice steadier than I felt. Jax saw something in us, in all of us. Not just wins, but heart. We play for him. For every overlooked play that built this. Silence, then nods. Tyler, the linebacker with the mean hook shot, clapped my back. All right, Cap, show us. Leadership wasn't glory. It was grit. Early mornings diagramming plays on my bedroom wall. Late nights rallying stragglers over pizza. Jax texted encouragement from his couch prison. You're a natural, babe. And visited practices in a sling. His presence a talisman. Tension simmered, though. Becca, Jax's ex from junior year, cornered me in the hall one crisp October afternoon. You think you're special? He's using you to stay relevant. Her words wormed in, but I shook it off, until the betrayal blindsided us. It came via Snapchat, anonymous at first. Grainy pics of Jax at a party last summer, arm around some guy from band camp. My stomach dropped, scrolling in the dim glow of my phone under covers. Lies? Or truth I'd ignored? Confronted him at the diner, voice cracking over milkshakes. Who is he, Jax? Was I just convenient? His face crumpled, green eyes storm-tossed. Ancient history, Alex. Before us, I swear. But doubt festered, a crack in our foundation. Practices turned brutal. I barked orders sharper, masking hurt with hustle. The team felt it, fumbles, fractures. Whispers grew. Caps off. Jax jinxed him. Climax hit mid-November. Regionals against arch-rivals Hamilton Hawks. Snow flurried the field. Lights haloed in the chill. Jax in the stands, bundled and beaming despite the sling. My anchor. We were down 14 at half, locker room a powder keg. Tyler exploded. This is bullshit. Hartley's plays are soft. Jack's never folded like this. Fists clenched. I saw red. Soft? I'm bleeding for this team while you're whining. Jax chose me because he believed. Do you? Chaos erupted. Shoves, shouts, until Coach's bellow froze us. Enough! Hartley's carrying Donovan's torch. Step up or sit. Second half was war. I called audibles on instinct, threading runs through blizzards of defenders. With 2 minutes left, 4th and goal, I faked the handoff. Tucked and bolted, snow spraying like confetti. The end zone blurred. I dove, ball breaking the plane as sirens wailed. Upset victory, Eagles advance. Huddle erupted. Even Tyler bear hugged me, gruff apology lost in cheers. Jax met me at the gate, pulling me into a fierce embrace. Sling be damned. You did it. We did. Under stadium lights, snowflakes melting on our lashes. I kissed him. Public, defiant. Gasps rippled, but so did whoops. Willow Creek's first crack in the closet. Betrayal's shadow lingered, though. Becca's anonymous leak? Traced to her phone, jealousy-fueled sabotage. Confrontation in the parking lot. Her tears mixing with mine. I thought he'd come back. I softened, humanistic ache winning. Hurt doesn't justify hurting others. Heal, Becca. We all do. Forgiveness didn't erase scars, but it mended fences. Playoffs blurred into semis. State. Us against the world. Jax rehabbing beside me. Our bond forged in fire. Finals night. Under Detroit's dome. Lights blazing like stars. Tied at buzzer, overtime frenzy. I snapped the hike. Tyler bulldozed the line. Wide out streaked free. My throw spiraled true touchdown. Confetti rained. Medals weighed heavy around necks. But glory paled next to Jax's whisper in the roar. Lead me home. Graduation dawned humid. Caps sailing like wishes. Willow Creek felt smaller, horizons vast. Jax and I, hand in hand at the bonfire. Team surrounding, parents nodding tentative approval. Mom teared up. Proud of you, kid. Both ways. His folks echoed. Bridge built slow but sure. We chased dreams, me to OSU for astroengineering, him Ohio State ball on scholarship. Long distance loomed, but trust anchored us. Looking back, ordinary was my camouflage, until Jax stripped it away, revealing the leader, the lover, the me. In America's heartland, where fields stretch endless and hearts hide deep, we proved. Overlooked doesn't mean unseen. Chosen, that's the spark that ignites worlds. And ours? Still burning bright. The summer after graduation melted into a haze of fireflies and fleeting freedoms. But for Jax and me, it was the forge that tempered our edges. We'd rented a beat-up cabin on Lake Erie. Peeling paint, creaky porch, but with a dock that jutted into sun-dappled waters like an invitation to dream. Mom called it our honeymoon hut. Jax's dad grunted approval over burgers, a quiet evolution from suspicion to solidarity. Just don't screw it up, son, he'd said, clapping my shoulder. First time without the flinch. Mornings started with coffee black as the crow's wing feathers dotting the shore. Us tangled in sheets that smelled of salt and sunscreen. Jax, ribs healed but ego bruised from the bench, woke with that boyish grin, pulling me close. Morning Cap, he'd murmur, lips brushing my collarbone. Not hungry, but home. We'd paddle out in the rickety canoe, him rowing lazy strokes while I sketched horizons in my notebook. The curve of his bicep against oar, the way sunlight haloed his hair like some Renaissance saint gone rogue. You're staring, he'd tease, splashing me till laughter echoed across the waves. Afternoons meant road trips, cranking classic rock on the radio, windows down, wind whipping our secrets free. We'd hit Cleveland's Rock Hall, fingers laced amid Hendrix guitars, whispering futures. Him slinging passes for the Buckeyes, me mapping stars in a lab coat, but undercurrents tugged. One evening, as dusk bled purple over the lake, Jax grew quiet, skipping stones with too much force. What if it's not enough? He asked, voice cracking like thin ice. The team, the scouts, they love the hero. What if sideline Jax ain't the guy? I cupped his face, thumbs tracing jawline stubble. You're more than plays, Jax. You're the guy who saw me. That's eternal. Betrayal's ghost resurfaced in July, a letter forwarded from home. Anonymous again, but Becca's perfume lingered on the envelope like accusation. Inside, printed emails from Jax's phone, flirty banter with that band camp guy, timestamps predating us but laced with "miss you" heat. My chest caved. I crumpled it, hurling into the fire pit. Sparks flew accusatory. Talk, I demanded when he returned from a jog, sweat slick and oblivious. He read, paled. Alex, that's nothing. Summer fling, buried. But evidence mocked mercy. Buried how? If it's dead, why keep it? Voices rose, waves crashing punctuation to our storm. He stormed out. I sank to the dock, knees to chest, tears salting the lake. Dawn found him beside me, eyes red-rimmed, holding my notebook. Pages open to a sketch of us, intertwined under stadium lights. I deleted everything. Swear on the field. Vulnerability cracked him open. The fear of losing me mirroring his sideline dread. We rebuilt slow, therapy sessions via Zoom with a counselor from the school's LGBTQ plus ally group, learning to voice shadows before they swallowed light. Trust is a play-by-play, she said. Call it early. By August, we were stronger, scars like turf burns. Tender but testimony. College drop-off hit like a freshman fumble. OSU's campus sprawled mammoth. Buckeye banners fluttering like war flags, dorms buzzing with possibility and peril. Jax's scholarship housed him in athlete high-rise. Mine, a co-ed walk-up smelling of ramen and regret. First week, orientation overload. Syllabi stacks, club fairs where I manned the Astro Society booth, fumbling constellations to wide-eyed freshmen. Jax texted hourly, miss your nerd voice, but nights alone amplified doubts. Was this us, or unraveling threads? Hazing season whispered dark. Jax's tales filtered through calls. Upperclassmen rituals, bonding that blurred into booze and bravado. It's fine, he'd assure, voice tinny over speaker. But one Friday, post-frat mixer, he stumbled into my room at 2 a.m., reeking of cheap beer and something sharper. Betrayal's echo. They asked about you, he slurred, collapsing onto my futon. Teammates. Donovan's got a side piece. Laughed it off. But, he trailed, fists clenching sheets. I held him through shakes, rubbing circles on his back. Side piece? You're my whole damn playbook. Dawn confessions poured. Pressure to man up. Date a sorority girl for cover. I told him to fuck off. For us. Conflict crested midterms. A scout visited practice. NFL whispers for Jax. Piling expectations like playbook pages. My astrophysics load crushed. All-nighters birthing black hole models while he tossed in sleep, murmuring plays. Distance gnawed. Arguments sparked over nothing. Forgotten laundry. A flirty barista's wink. You're pulling away, I accused one rainy night, pacing his sterile suite. Thunder rattled windows. Scared I'll eclipse you? He recoiled, hurt flashing green. Eclipse? Alex, you're my North Star. This us is the win that matters. We pivoted, date nights reclaimed. Tailgate picnics under autumn oaks, him quizzing my quantum theories over tailgate chili. Me at his games, sideline screams blending with the band's brass. Humanistic threads wove in volunteering at Prism House, the campus queer center, where we mentored wide-eyed underclassmen. You two are goals, a trans kid named Riley beamed, and Jax squeezed my hand under the table. Betrayal's lesson? Forgiveness isn't erasure. It's evolution. Thanksgiving pulled us home, Willow Creek unchanged, yet forever altered. Dino's Diner glowed welcoming. Coach Harlan bought rounds at the VFW, toasting Hartley Donovan dynasty. Mom and Jax's folks shared pie, stories bridging divides. Her single mom grit mirroring his dad's steel mill layoffs. Love's the real MVP, she said, winking. Bonfire that night, team alums circling flames. Tyler, now a mechanic with grease-stained pride, pulled me aside. You let us write, Cap Jax too. Embers danced. Jax and I slipped away, finding solace in the old track. Remember that first whistle? He murmured, arms wrapping me against chill. Ordinary ended there. I nodded, lips finding his soft, sure. Snowflakes are confetti. Winter quarter ramped ruthless. Finals fog, flu sweeping dorms. Jax caught it bad, fever dreams of fumbled snaps. Me nursing with soup and star charts projected on ceilings. Vulnerability peaked when his dad called, voice gravel. Proud, son, of both. Tears tracked Jax's temples. He clutched my hand. Worth every hit. Spring bloomed rebellion. Campus Pride Week. We emceed the drag show. Jax in glittery eyeliner butchering lip sync to Gaga. Crowd roaring. Backlash bit. Slurs scrawled on our door. Anonymous emails venomous. Fags ruining football. Jax wanted to swing. I held him back. Rise above. That's our play. We reported, rallied. Prism House swelled with allies. Climax in the Student Senate. Petition for inclusive housing passed. Our voices the spark. Summer internship split us, me at NASA Glenn in Cleveland, crunching data on exoplanets. Him at a Columbus training camp, bulking for fall. Video calls bridged miles. Him shirtless post-workout, me geeked over telescope feeds. Stars look different from here, I'd say. Brighter with you. Betrayal's final echo? A tabloid snippet Jax spotted with a cheerleader. Fake, fueled by old rivals. We laughed it off, stronger in scrutiny. By sophomore year, we'd carved our niche. Him starting QB, me G intro Astro. Our apartment a haven of jerseys and journals. Conflicts mellowed, arguments now pillow talks, dissecting doubts like game film. Humanistic heart pulsed. Founding the Buckeye Allies Club, hosting panels on rural queerness. From overlooked to out loud, Jax quipped at our first event. One crisp October Eve post-victory rally, he dropped to one knee on the oval, ring simple, silver band etched with coordinates of our first kiss. Lead with me, Alex? Forever. Cheers erupted. I pulled him up, yes, a whisper in the wind. Not end, but endless beginning. Years folded like well-worn playbooks, each season etching deeper lines on our map. Triumphs tallied in touchdowns and theses. Heartaches healed in hospital hugs and honest hours. Jax's pro dreams ignited sophomore spring. Scouts swarmed like locusts, offers piling from Cleveland Browns to Green Bay Packers. Stay close. I begged over pad thai in our shoebox kitchen, chopsticks hovering. He grinned, that captain's spark undimmed. Cleve's got my heart. And you. Draft night, ESPN lights glaring in a Columbus sports bar. Our hands slick with sweat under the table. His name flashed second round, Browns. Roars deafened. He crushed me in a bear hug, whispering, our field now. Cleveland welcomed with rust and reinvention. Jax in a high-rise overlooking the lake. Me commuting to Glenn for rover missions. Our loft a collision of footballs and flux capacitors. Mornings, him pounding protein shakes. Me decoding cosmic whispers over espresso. Evenings. Tangled on the balcony, city skyline our constellation. This is it, he'd say, tracing my knuckles. Us, unbreakable. But pro balls grind ground slow wounds. Training camp brutalized. Pads popping like gunfire. Egos clashing in the locker room. Jax came home hollow-eyed. Ice packs blooming blue on knees. They test everything. He confessed one stormy night. Thunder underscoring tension. My arm, my grit. And yeah, the rumors. Whispers slithered. Donovan's soft. Too busy with his boyfriend. A vet cornerback. Grizzled vet named Marco. Cornered him post-scrimmage. Play straight, kid, or sit. Jax laughed it off barely, but fractures formed. My world parallel. Promotions to lead analyst, papers published in Astrophysical Journal, but isolation crept. Late nights at the observatory, dome yawning star-speckled. I'd ache for his voice. One eclipse eve, totality blotting the moon. I drove to camp unannounced. Found him alone on the dew-kissed turf, tossing spirals to shadows. Couldn't wait, I said, catching one. We lay there, grass prickling backs, eclipse carving silver edges. You're my gravity, he murmured. Pulls me back every time. Betrayal reared autumnal, vicious. Week 5. Browns eking a win against Steelers. Jax's game-winning scramble etched in highlights. Post-game presser. A reporter lobbed the grenade. Donovan, rumors of your personal life distracting from the field? Fans want focus. Cameras clicked predatory. His jaw ticked. My life's an open playbook. Next question. But locker room fallout festered. Marco's crew icing him out. Towels accidentally yanked mid-shower. Home, he shattered a mug, shards scattering like trust. They think I'm weak because of us. I swept up, steady. Weak? You're the strongest man I know. Flip the script. Own it. We did. Coming out column in Cleveland scene. Raw, real, Jax penning vulnerability, me weaving star analogies. Love's not a penalty. It's the power play. Backlash boomed. Hate mail venomous, sponsors waffling, but allies surged. Teammates trickled support. Rookie wide out demanding rainbows. Even Marco grunting. Respect, man. Sales spiked. Jerseys flew. Humanistic win. Glad interview. Us side by side, normalizing narratives. Climax crash December. Playoff push. Snow-swept dog pound howling. Divisional round versus Ravens. Jax torched their secondary. Arm a cannon. But fourth quarter, blitz crumpling him, helmet to helmet, illegal hit. Carted off, field tilting. I vaulted barriers, medics parting like Red Sea. Our lights blurred. Scans screamed concussion. Sprained MCL. Season over? He rasped. Monitors beeping dirge. I gripped his hand. Just intermission. Lead from the booth. Rehab redux. Physical therapy marathons. Me charting progress like orbital paths. Doubt dialogue deep. Nights he'd wake screaming plays. I'd hold him, humming old Buckeye fight songs. What if this breaks me? He'd whisper. Then we rebuild. Brick by star. Off-season offered oxygen. Trips to Mauna Kea. Telescopes dwarfing troubles. Him learning constellations. That's us, Orion's belt. Unseen but holding the sky. Spring training dawned defiant. Jax returned, not just healed but evolved, advocating for inclusive policies, partnering with athlete ally. Marco, converted, co-hosting a panel on toxic masculinity. You showed balls, Donovan. He clapped Jax's back. Games gleamed. Super Bowl berth. Confetti cannon in Atlanta. Halftime show pulsed. Locker room electric. Down by 7, Jax huddled us. Wait. Me? Invited as strategy consultant. Clipboard in tow. Alex's call, he announced, eyes locking mine. Fake the slant, bootleg screen. Skeptics murmured, we executed flawless, touchdown tying it. OT frenzy. His pass, my suggested arc. Game winner. Lombardi gleamed. Tears streamed as he lifted it, dedicating to the overlooked who lead. Post-victory haze. Parade down Euclid. Floats festooned. Us waving from convertibles. Rings glinting. Wedding vows whispered pre-season. Quiet ceremony lakeside. Media frenzy faded to family. Mom beaming beside Jax's folks. Tyler toasting from afar. From trailer to trophy. She hugged. Years layered. Jax retired at 32. Coaching youth leagues, his foundation funding queer sports camps. Me? NASA Directorate, rover selfies from Mars, my postcards home. Conflicts. Faded to footnotes, arguments now anniversaries, betrayals badges of battles won. One anniversary, dockside at our eerie cabin. Aged now but anchors firm. He pulled a velvet box. Eternal Captain? Inside, coordinates etched anew. Our wedding night. I laughed, slipping it on. Lead on, love. In America's vast playbook, from Rust Belt fields to rocket fields, we proved ordinary ignites extraordinary when chosen. Our story, not ended, but eternally in motion. Human, heartfelt, horizon-bound. Decades turn brought tempests uncharted. Winds howling change through our carefully charted lives. Jax's coaching gig at a Cleveland charter school bloomed boys into men. Inner-city kids with dreams dented by doubt. His office a sanctuary of signed jerseys and believe banners. I'd shuttle between DC briefings, Artemis missions plotting lunar leaps, and home flights, Our row house in Shaker Heights, a beacon of bay windows and breakfast banter. Mornings, him flipping pancakes shaped like footballs, me annotating mission logs over oatmeal. Stars today? He'd tease, kissing syrup-sticky lips. Always, with you grounding me. But midlife murmurs stirred. Jax hit 35, knees creaking like old stadium seats. Coaching cheers masked a restlessness, eyes distant during halftime huddles. Am I enough? He voiced one autumn eve, leaves carpeting the backyard like fallen confetti. Rake paused mid-sweep. Post-pro, post-young, what legacy? I set down cider, pulling him to the hammock. Legacies not trophies, Jax. It's them, the kids who see themselves in you. In us. He leaned into my shoulder, vulnerability a vintage wine. Richer with age. My orbit tilted too. Directorship demands, congressional testimonies on Mars habitats. Nights blurring into NASA war rooms. Distance domestic crept, him at parent-teacher nights, me in Houston Sims. Texts truncated. Miss you shorthand for aching voids. One February blizzard. Flights grounded. I drove through whiteout. Arriving to find him alone in the den. Old game tapes flickering blue. Re-watching Glory, he said. Remote trembling. Feels like yesterday. We curled on the couch. His head in my lap. Fingers combing salt and pepper waves. Glories now, I murmured. Our highlight reel. Betrayal bloomed insidious. Not from without but within Jax's old vice. Compartmentalizing pain. Spring brought a school scandal. Star player outed by teammates. Bullying fracturing the squad. Jax intervened fierce, suspending the ringleaders, but backlash bade. Parents picketing, bored breathing down his neck. Resign quietly, they urged. He didn't, fought, testified, but isolation isolated him. Nights he'd vanish to the gym, pounding bags till knuckles bled. I returned from a Kennedy launch to find him withdrawn. Smiles strained. Talk. I pressed over takeout low main. Silence stretched. Then fracture. I failed them. Like I failed you. Hiding hurts to protect. Echoes of youth, his Prius flings, the locker room lies. You think I don't see? The way you shoulder alone. Like I'm fragile. Hurt hurled back. Fragile? I'm your partner. Not porcelain. Storm raged, dishes clattering, doors slamming. He slept on the couch. I in our bed, sheets cold as accusation. Dawn thawed tentative. Coffee truce. Mugs steaming like peace pipes. I compartmentalize because losing you terrifies. He admitted, voice raw. Post-draft doubts, pro-pressures. Always feared I'd dim your shine. Tears traced laugh lines. Dim? You illuminate, Jax. Always have. Therapy redux, couple sessions with a sage from Case Western. Unpacking midlife myths. Love's not linear, she counseled. It's laps. Reruns build resilience. We lapped. Date nights reclaimed. Ravinia concerts under stars, him humming off-key to Bowie. Me mapping symphonies to supernovas. Climax crested summer solstice. Jax's team facing cross-down rivals in a championship qualifier. Turf scorched under noon sun. Stands swelling with hope and heat. The bullied kid, now captain under Jax's wing, faltered mid-game. Fumble, flags flying, score slipping. Locker half. Pandemonium, kids crumbling. Jax gathered them, voice steady as sideline snaps. This ain't loss, it's lesson. We rise together. Alex taught me that. Eyes turned. He nodded to his phone. My pre-recorded pep talk beaming. You're not plays, you're pioneers. Chart your course. Halftime surge. They stormed back, final drive a symphony of screens and slants. Victory snatched 28-24. Post-game, field emptying to echoes. Jax pulled me from the bleachers, our spot under goalposts scarred by spikes. You led from afar, he said, kneeling not in proposal but promise. Renew vows? Here where it sparked. Kids encircled, impromptu choir of cheers. We exchanged bands anew, words whispered. Through eclipses and end zones. Whistles blew confetti. Parents applauded, bridges burned to bonfires of belonging. Fallout flowered. Media montage ESPN feature on Donovan's next drive, highlighting queer coaching frontiers. School board back down. Scholarships surged for at-risk athletes. Humanistic harvest. The kid, Jamal, penned a thank you. Coach, you made me captain of my life. Jax framed it beside our wedding photo. Winter wove wonders. Artemis launch. Me in mission control as habitats docked flawless. Jax live streaming from stands. My rocket man. Holidays hummed hybrid. Shaker hearths with mom's pies. Willow Creek bonfires where Tyler's garage band jammed anthems. Aging like fine whiskey. Tyler toasted. Kids orbiting our knees. Spring unfurled advocacy arcs. Jax keynoting at Glad galas. Me moderating space equity panels. Our voices twining. Tales of overlooked orbits. Conflicts. Cushioned now. Arguments aired over arbor walks. Resolved in reconciliations rich as roots. One equinox dawn. Eerie cabin calling. We canoed at sunrise. Waters mirror smooth. Loons laughing low. Ordinary? He mused, or dipping rhythmic. I smiled, sketching him anew in mind's eye. Never were. Chosen, always. Horizon blushed. Our story, evergreen. Dramatic drafts yielding to romantic rhythms. Humanistic horizons ever unfolding. Yet tempests teach. Betrayal's not endpoint, but edit. Pages turn to plot twists profound. In America's anthology, from heartland huddles to heavenly heights, we lead, linked, luminous. Twilight years tiptoed tender, sunsets stretching longer as our timelines telescoped. Retirements ripening like late harvest grapes, sweet with sediment of seasons savored. Jax hung up his whistle at 55. School naming their field, Donovan Oval, in a ceremony drenched in dawn dew and dawning pride. From captain to compass, he joked in his speech, arms slung round my waist, graying but grinning. I stepped down from NASA at 58, Legacy Lunar. Habitats housing dreamers, my name etched in regolith replicas. Stars called, you answered. Colleagues toasted at the farewell fate. Our shaker nest feathered fuller. Guest rooms for grandkids. Jamal's twins. Rowdy with remote control rovers. Tyler's daughter. A budding QB with braids and bravado. Mornings morphed mellow. Porch swings creaking to birdsong. Jax brewing decaf while I puzzled crosswords cosmic. 7 letters, eternal bond? He'd quip, pecking my temple. Marriage? I'd retort, pulling him down for lazy laps. But age's undercurrents undulated uneasy. Jax's knees betrayed first. Arthritic aches sidelining strolls. Cane clicking like metronome to mortality. Hate leaning, he'd grumble, eyeing the walker gathering dust. One crisp cranberry morn. Frost filigreed on windows. He confided over cider. Feel like that sideline season. Useful, but benched. I cupped his hands, veins mapping adventures. Benched? Your halftime hero. Our best plays ahead. Physical therapy tandem. Me yoga bending beside his pool laps. Laughter bubbling when he'd splash revenge for old practice pranks. My shadows surfaced subtler. Eyes dimming, star charts blurring to blurs. Dystrophies diagnosed, world softening at edges. Can't see the belt anymore. I lamented one stargazing night, telescope mocking. Jax adjusted the lens, patient. Here, feel the pull. Like us. Braille books joined shelves. Audio apps narrated nebulae. Conflicts crystallized clear. Frustrations flaring over forgotten keys. Arguments aging acidic. You're babying me. I'd snap, post a spill. Protecting. He'd counter, voice velvet over steel. Sessions with our sage evolved, now virtual, her wisdom weathered. Elder loves excavation, she smiled. Unearth gently. Betrayal's belated bloom. Not infidelity, but forgetfulness. Jax's early dementia whispers. Names slipping like fumbled snaps. First sign. Calling me coach in a diner days. Menus morphing meaningless. Tests confirmed, world wobbled. Losing pieces. He wept in the doctor's dim office. My arm anchor. Won't lose you, I vowed fierce. Caregiving choreography. Calendars color-coded. Routines ritualized. morning meds with mnemonic marches, afternoon walks tracing neighborhood narratives. Remember our first hook? I'd prompt under the same oaks. He'd squeeze my hand. Whistle blast. You froze. I thawed. Climax cascaded compassionate. Willow Creek reunion, 40-year class bash. Turf turned tent. Lanterns lanterning legacies. Jax, sharper that week on new meds, insisted driving me navigating via voice, heart-hammering hybrid hope-fear. Arrivals odd. Tyler gray but grinning, Mom frail in her armchair throne, Coach Harlan hobbling with tails tall. Huddle formed impromptu. Alums orbiting, beers bubbling nostalgia. Jax rose, cane steady. From overlooked to legends, we led because we loved. Alex showed me hearts the huddle. Applause thundered. Tears traced my cheeks. Becca approached, silver-streaked and softened. Forgive my youth? Embrace exchanged, old wounds wisp to wind. Dance floor dawned. Slow spins to Springsteen, his steps sure against mine. Still got moves, Cap, he winked. Midnight meteor shower, team tilting telescopes, kids gasping streaks. Make a wish, Jax murmured. Already did, eternity with you. Return road rippled reflective. Highways humming hymns of highways home. Dawn crested. He dozed, head on my shoulder. Home harbored healing. Support circles at Prism House Elder's wing. Stories shared of love's lingering. Jamal visited, now a counselor. You too? Blueprint. Winter waned wistful. Holidays hushed. Grandkids glee gilding grief's edges. One Yule Eve, fire crackling carols. Jax faltered mid-story. Eyes vacant, then victorious spark. Alex led me. I knelt, forehead to his. Always, through every quarter. Spring's symphony swelled. Cherry blossoms blanketing blocks. Our garden a testament. Roses resilient, peonies proud. Conflicts, caressed now. Frustrations framed as features of fortitude. Betrayal's brother, burden, born buoyant. Memoirs co-authored, voice-to-text capturing candor. Ordinary unveiled, title tentative. Tales of trials transmuted to triumphs. Summer solstice summoned serenity. Eerie cabin encore, canoes traded for kayaks, waters whispering welcomes. Dockside dusk, he traced my wedding band, worn to whisper. Chose right, Hartley. I smiled. Sunset symphony our score. Overlooked no more, chosen, cherished. Twilight's tender truth. Life's not linear league, but luminous loop. Dramatic descents ascending to romantic refrains. Humanistic harmonies humming eternal. In America's autumnal anthology, from fledgling fields to fading firesides, we led linked, loved, legendary. Our story, not sunset, but starrise, endless, enlightening, ever ours. Epilogue etched ethereal, years later, under Orion's watchful belt. Now felt, not seen. I'd recount to grandkids round the hearth. Once overlooked ordinary, until chosen. Jax, beside would chime. And leading? That's love's longest play. Laughter lit the lodge. Stars sang silent approval. Fade to forever.